Hey guys, it's Malcolm here with another installment of our MDM Bytes, which are short, instructional, best practices centric videos that you can leverage for insight on driving MDM program success. So today we're going to talk about CDPs, Customer Data Platforms. CDPs have risen to prominence over the last few years. There's an awful lot of them out there. Depending on who you ask, they're anywhere from 70 to 120 different CDPs, so there's a lot. They're relatively close to the top of what Gartner calls their hype cycle, which means there's a lot of hype in the market about CDPs. They're being positioned to solve everything from marketing related to problems to having a single gold master record of customer data for the enterprise from there and everything in between. So be careful. There's a lot of hype and there's a lot of salesmanship around CDPs. But today we're going to talk about the four signs or the four signals that you might need an MDM and not a CDP. So I'm not here today to talk about the merits of CDPs. That would be a separate video. So look online for more information there from me very, very shortly. We're just going to talk about what may signal that you should probably be looking at MDM and not CDP, because these are very, very different solutions solving very different use cases and providing very, very different value for the organization. So here are the four signs that you may need an MDM, not a CDP. Number one sign is you've got stakeholders and requirements that aren't in marketing. So if you have stakeholders who are in finance or in supply chain, and they've got specific requirements related to customer data and creating maybe a source of truth for customer data, and those stakeholders aren't in marketing, that's your first sign that you're probably looking at an MDM solution and not a customer data platform. CDPs are razor focused at supporting marketing-centric requirements. Number two sign that you may need an MDM and not a CDP is that what you're looking for is a consistent, persistent instantiation of customer data that can be used everywhere in the organization. Not just within your marketing platforms, but used within your ERP platforms, maybe your services and support platform, maybe your supply chain platforms, maybe your procure to pay, you name it. Anything outside of marketing, any application, any enterprise application outside of marketing, including your BI and analytics, any application, if you've got the need to have customer data replicated and operationalized in those systems and they're outside of marketing, the chances are pretty good you should probably consider an MDM and not a CDP. Signal number three, you've got data governance and compliance requirements that extend beyond the management of marketing preferences. So yes, CDPs can support making sure that you manage kind of PII and that you're not sending the wrong email to the wrong people, or that you've got opt-out, those types of things, suppression lists managed in CDPs, yes, they can support those. But if you've got governance and compliance related requirements that are outside of marketing, if you've got people in finance or audit or compliance who have very, very specific customer-centric governance requirements, and those need to be managed in an audible, compliant, regulatory-friendly way, chances are you may be looking at an MDM and not a CDP. Lastly, the last signal here that you may need a CDP, or I should say you may need an MDM and not a CDP. It's confusing space. Sorry, guys. That you need, number four sign here is that you need a consistent, auditable, explainable, and configurable responses to queries against your customer data, against your single source of the truth. Meaning you need to be able to explain why you're seeing what you're seeing to the organization within your source of truth for customer data. It needs to be explainable. It also needs to be configurable. You need to be able to configure your data governance rules. You need to be able to configure your data quality rules. You need to be able to configure things like the algorithms that you use or the business rules that you used for matching, for example, right? Joe Smith, Joseph Smith. If you need full configurability there, if you need auditability there, if you need explainability there, particularly when it comes to compliance and audit-friendly type requirements, chances are you should probably consider an MDM and not a CDP. So the key thread here, guys, is that if you have very specific requirements, detailed requirements around governance, right, and the business rules and the policies and procedures for management and maintenance of your customer data, again, chances are you may be looking at an MDM and not a CDP. So there are other things, we'll talk about those in other videos as well, and we'll get into a little bit more detail around the differences between CDP and MDM. Chances are you actually maybe need both. That's what I'm seeing with a lot of the clients that I've been supporting for the last few years. It's not an either or, often it's a both. But those are the 4 key signs that you may need an MDM and not a CDP. Thanks so much, guys. I look forward to sharing more information in another installment of MDM Bytes very soon.